Hi everyone, this is Daisy here, and I'm back with another story time. If you are new to my channel, you can go ahead and check the description box to learn all about my services, my decks, health mart, and other resources to help you on your journey. So today, I'm going to be reading a story called "The Story of the Obsidian Butterfly," and I feel like this story is really powerful right now, especially for divine feminines, because with the different transits, major karmic cycles closing, aka the World card. We're at like a crossroads of getting deeper into our healing practice or backtracking a bit. We're also in a process of, fully overcoming demons, challenges, karmic energies, and karmic people that have been interfering in our lives. And I feel like this story is very poignant for the times. So, the story of Obsidian Butterfly. Once upon a time, there was a being of deep sweetness called Butterfly. She was beautiful. Her wings were gossamer rainbows, and she rode the currents of the wind from blade of grass to shady rock, and sometimes to the tops of the high mountain peaks that rose from the valley where she lived. Every day was beautiful. On some days the sun shone, on others gentle rain soaked the land. The wind was never too hot or too cold, and it carried her kindly wherever her heart wanted to go. But one day there was a rumble in the earth and a deep groan that froze with fear all the living things in the land where Butterfly lived. The gentle creatures fled, looking for shelter as the sky grew dark and the air became thick with acrid smoke. Soon, Butterfly and her companions knew that there would be no escape. A great plume of hot ash rose into the sky, and when the Butterfly looked up, she saw the earth bleeding from a wound at the top of the mountain. Butterfly tried to rise high above the molten rock and fiery ash, but the air was too heavy and it pushed her towards the earth. She settled on a flat stone by the sea and awaited her fate. Soon the wound in the bleeding earth became as gash that carved a great canyon down the side of the mountain and swallowed up all the land. It devoured everything in its path, animal, vegetable, and stone. When it reached Butterfly, she spread her wings in wide surrender, her magnificent colors shimmering in the molten glow for a brief moment, and then she was gone. But what Butterfly didn't know was that someone was watching. The great goddess of the land, the Rainbow Lady, was watching from beyond the high clouds in the clear sky. Great Goddess had created all the creatures of the land, and she loved Butterfly with her glimmering rainbow wings very much. She brought her lips together like a kiss and blew a cool wind down the side of the mountain and across the valley to the sea, to the place where Butterfly had been swallowed by the molten stone. And even imprisoned within that dark cave, Butterfly could hear her sweet voice as she said, "Little one, do not fear, for I have brought the rain." And with that, a cool rain poured down from the sky, and Rainbow Lady gently scooped up Butterfly in her hands, and in that moment, Butterfly knew that a new life had come to her. The goddess spoke again. "Precious one, with wings the colors of all of creation, I could not save you from the scorching fury of the fire god, but I can give you a new life with a great purpose." Inside her tomb of stone, Butterfly's heart fluttered the way her wings yearned to. "Yes, yes," she said, "please, I want to be free." "And free you shall be, sweet Butterfly, but you will not be the same, for the alchemy of fire and death have transformed you. No longer will you be only a carefree companion of the wind. Now you will have the power to descend into the shadows and caves, to the darkest places where no light and no wind dare to dwell. Your wings are no longer soft playthings that shimmer only in the light. They are the power of fire caught in stone, and they can illuminate the dark. They are edged with razor-sharp claws that will cut through the ignorance that all beings suffer from, the illusion that they are separated from love. From this moment forward, you will be Obsidian Butterfly, and you will have the powers of both the light and the dark mothers. Your hard glass wings will act as a mirror into the depths of the souls of all that look upon you, so that they may see their own shadow and love it as they love their light." Butterfly was humbled by the gift and a little unsure, but in her heart she was strong. She turned her face to the great goddess and whispered her and spread her new wings, forged of fire, rain, wind, and stone, and said, "I am here to serve." The obsidian goddess still lives to this day, and she holds the space for us between the clear sky and the deep below. She is the messenger and the mirror, the guide who will take you from your dark cave and into the light. All you need to do is take her hand. It's a beautiful story. And I came across this story as I was doing research on the goddess Ixchel. And the goddess Ixchel, Mayan goddess, I believe, definitely, yeah, Mayan goddess. I was going to confuse with Aztec for a minute. Please excuse me. She is the goddess of warrior goddess, right? Battle, warfare, but also the goddess of medicine and healing and midwifery. And she comes in two forms, both the older woman and a younger woman, right? Both dark and light. I'm not saying if you're older, you're dark. If you're younger, you're dark. If you're older, you're light. No, I'm not saying that. Dark and light, it's polarities, right? And I was researching Ixchel, and then I came across this story. And it's crazy because on the live the other night, we were talking about obsidian, and listening to different like frequencies of stone. And I was talking about obsidian wind chimes. And those who understand the power of obsidian, obsidian is not just a stone that you pick up and that you just like wear on you. Working with obsidian is like a process. And it's so funny, as I said that, a feather kind of dropped down on me. Working with obsidian is like a process. It's a ritual, if that makes some sense. While sitting with the obsidian, you're also processing, and purging. But it's also, even when you're not with the stone, it's bringing up different aspects of your consciousness for you to be able to look at and become more aware of. Obsidian is it's like of an initiation in some ways. In ancient Egypt, they call it the temple of initiation under Isis. But with obsidian butterfly, she had to go through an alchemical process of air, fire, water, and earth in order to have her wings transformed. And I was talking about how for a lot of us, when we've cleared and healed a lot of our trauma, so it changes our auric field. Our auric field is like literally we metamorph into like literal butterflies, right, in the spiritual realm. But then our auric field becomes even more clearer. We then start to embody higher vibratory frequencies like violet and clear and gold and opalescent and rainbow and indigo, right? But butterfly had to go through that process of just being a pretty butterfly living where everything was good to having that tower moment, which was the volcano, and then having to remake and rebuild herself through the help of the great mother that was watching her. And as I was reading that story, I felt like a pang in my heart chest. Not a pain, but a pang, Pang. Because I felt like there was an ancestral mother hitting me at that point and was telling me like, yes, you may go through the fire. It may be really hot. Hot like fire. I'm gonna take you higher. I don't know, I love that song. But anyways, we go through these transformations of fire, of sleet, of snow, of wind, of rock and landslide. Crazy being whipped around by the elements, but she's always with us and she's always there to protect. And no battle is too great. And it's at the time where you think that your battle is too great that you're transformed into the obsidian butterfly, where your wings are actually now weapons as well. And you understand that, yes, I work with the light, but the dark is also very much present, and I have to work with both. And it's how dark do I want to get? That's the question that you have to ask yourself. Because we're not just, remember, dark comes from light, right? We're not just light beings, light workers, like, oh, love and light, that's spiritual bypass. There's also darkness, and rainbow butterfly, she had to learn that the hard way, right? There's also darkness, there's also chaos. It's the natural order of the universe. It's when chaos and darkness try to overpower the light completely that it becomes a problem. And that's when us warrior goddesses, Ixchel, Isis, Sekhmet, Ma'at, right? We get activated to fight. And in that fight, we're transformed. Everyone is going to have their own interpretation of this story, but I felt like somebody needed to hear this. Somebody loves you, baby. Somebody does. And there's been points in time where, like, I have friends and, I have, people that care about me and tell me really nice things and support me. But sometimes you can feel really lonely and feel like you're not loved. But that pang that I was feeling, that energy in my body, I finally learned what it really means to like be loved by the Most High, be loved by the ancestor mothers, be loved by the goddesses, be loved by God. It finally settled in. it really hit me like I'm so loved. And then it's like they all started talking to me at once. They're like, now you can hear us. There's a lot of individuals who don't have the luxury of having a connection to the Most High the way in which some divine feminines do. They forfeited that. Some forfeited that. Some have a lot of karma, so they're kind of blocked from that. And when you keep your vibration in alignment, you're rewarded through protection, through insight, through being able to have inner peace and inner joy. And even when we go through these crazy ass tower moments or people trying us and things like that, it's to refine us in some ways. Because only through going through the fire as a piece of coal do we come out a diamond. And Butterfly showed us, she was so selfless. She was like, you know what? I'm just gonna surrender. I'm gonna let God take the wheel. And in that process of surrendering, giving up the fight, giving up the battle, that's when she received everything. That's when she received her upgrade. That's when she received her ascension. And that to me was letting me know too, even in these different battles, sometimes too, we know that we're connected. And, in some way, we know that God is going to take control, karma is going to come, things like that. But then really letting go, like, okay, I'm going to let this thing go how it's going to go. And even if it's going to take more time than I expected it to, I'm just going to find ways to be able to cope with what is happening in real time. Even though I want it to be over right now, I'm going to just find ways to focus on the things that I can. It's like the serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Saying that serenity prayer, like I've been saying that a whole lot more lately because sometimes I get this rush of energy in my body, like, oh, I just want to take control of the situation and show them who's boss. But then I'm like, you know what? No, let the Most High do it. Let the Most High. Let the Most High do it. Yes. Because surely, as the great goddess mother came and descended from the sky and transformed Butterfly into a very powerful being that can transcend light and dark, she will do the same for you and she will thwart your enemies. I hope you guys enjoy. Bye.